Hey guys,
Hey,
like and subscribe.
do that now.
That's it.
We'll catch you in a few.
Maybe less than a few. Whatever.
Just between you and me, there's a line. There's no tricks. Ooh, there's a line.
Welcome to Just John and April, your relationship podcast, the place to level up your relationship. In today's episode, you're not that romantic, babe.
Wow.
And the word of the day. Yes, I said it.
Did you have to cut me like that though, in front of everybody?
I mean,
Good night.
sorry, but the truth has to be spoken,
Apparently so.
and we're gonna let it all out today.
So, you started the show dancing. I don't know if you noticed, but some of the chimes have been talking about your dancing and the fact that you can really dance.
Listen,
And
no
I
one
agree.
knows how much I love dancing. I don't even care if I don't look good dancing. I am going to be dancing. Like, I'm
But-
that one who's going to just be dancing.
But you always look
not
good dancing, though.
caring
That's the thing.
at all. You know, I really wanted to be a dancer for a very long time.
I know that.
There's so many things I want to do. I want to.
The funny thing is though, did you want to be a dancer or a background dancer?
You know what? I don't know. I guess just dancing. Like, I don't care.
You don't care.
Yeah,
Any kind of
group
dancer.
dancing.
Right.
You know, I would even solo dance. I don't even care. Like, I
Right.
just love dance. Like, I'm not even shy to dance. Like, I'm
Right.
shy to do so many different
I've
things.
always noticed
but
that about you.
dancing, I don't know what it is.
From the first time I met you, I remember for whatever reason, music comes on, you start dancing, and you've never been shy about that. You're shy about a lot of
I'm
stuff.
shy about
You've never
so
been shy
many
about
things.
that.
Never. I mean, I was strangers. I would go out on the floor by myself
Right.
at weddings.
Right. That's true. Before
And I don't like
the
doing-
bride and groom.
What is that?
I
Like,
don't know.
why am I not afraid
I think
to
it's
do
just
that?
in you, man.
I guess so.
Anyway, I love it.
Oh, well, I'm glad you love it. That's what matters.
I do.
Yes.
So we have this subject, obviously, that, this is going to hurt a little bit because we are talking about me specifically in this whole,
Yes, but
romance
before
thing.
we get into that, I want to know what you think about something.
What?
What do you think about the whole Simone Biles thing? You know, her,
Okay. The fact that she has withdrawn basically for mental health.
Yeah, that's a big topic, and we talk about mental health all the time. So
We
I
do.
thought it would be a great way to start the show.
Yeah.
Talking about what took place and what do you think, and because we promote mental health, we promote
do.
this kind of thing.
We do. So let me just say a couple of things about this. The first thing is that I do think that it's uncomfortable for some people to see athletes taking stands like this.
Yeah.
And I think it's largely because of how we've been conditioned. Okay, so we tend to think that athletes are mentally and emotionally superior when it comes to having to get on that big stage and perform. And I think they probably are in some ways.
Yeah.
Because they spend their lives doing this stuff, and this is something they do all the time. And so I
Right.
think it's hard for many people to accept the fact that a
It is.
person, under the circumstances,
Yes.
would be saying, I'm going to pull out of this race, out of this meet, out of this whatever it is, out of this game. I'm not going to play because of my mental health. It automatically makes us think something's going on with them that isn't legitimate, that maybe they're using this as an excuse. But here's why I don't agree with that. And somebody, I already didn't agree with it, but somebody said something today that I think was apropos. One of our friends, his name is Chris. Chris online made this post today, and I thought that was like the best way I've seen it put. He said he named 3 or 4 athletes who he started with Michael Jordan. And this is what got me reading it.
Yeah.
He started with Michael Jordan breaking his foot in the 80s. And he said Michael Jordan took off for several games. It was almost a season that he lost that season because he had to have his foot heal.
I know what you're about to say.
He named a bunch of different athletes,
Yes.
and he basically said all of these athletes took time away from their sport so that they could heal. And what he said then was Simone Biles is doing the same thing. It's just on the mental stage instead
Right.
of that actually physical.
And it could be.
And I was like,
just-
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because just like you broke the foot, just like Jordan broke his foot.
Yeah.
She could actually have broken mentally. Like,
Yes.
mentally just. I'm sure that she did not plan on that. You know, that was
Why
not
would
something-
she?
Just like
Why-
Michael
why-
Jordan
hold
didn't
on.
plan
Why
on
would she
breaking-
fly all the way to
That's what I'm
Tokyo?
saying. That's what I'm saying.
You know
That
what I'm
wasn't her
saying?
plan. That was
No.
not her plan. Just like it
No.
wasn't Jordan's plan to break his foot or
Exactly.
anybody else's plan to get injured.
Exactly.
That's an injury.
It is. And it's an injury we
It
don't
is.
respect
We
most
do
of the time.
not. But I think it's
And that's
going
a
to
shame.
start changing.
I think so too.
It already has.
I think so too. I think
gonna
people
start
like her
changing.
start to change the narrative and
Yes.
help us to see things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I think it will make it so that mental health is respected as a legitimate thing
Yes.
for us to care
Yes.
about.
Yes.
And that's a win for you and me because we care. Seriously, we're,
It is,
we're
man.
always teaching people about mental health, saying to them, yo, you need to
Yes.
take time. You know what I'm
You
saying?
need to take the time, and you need to do what you need to do for
Exactly,
yourself.
exactly.
Because it's going to be different. It's going to look different for somebody else.
Exactly.
And just respecting that person's decision
Yes.
based on what's going on with them.
Yes.
So I commend her for it
I do
because
too.
that actually had to be very difficult to make that announcement.
Had to be.
To make that decision.
Had to be more difficult than
Because-
playing through it.
Oh, it had to. I would say that it was more difficult for her to stop
Yes.
and say, I'm done.
Yes.
Than to go ahead and continue with her mental health not being at where it needed to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm sorry about that because
too.
I love her
Right.
and I love watching her, and she's the reason why
She's still amazing. That's
was
why you're
really
that's why
excited.
you're watching the Olympics.
Yeah, that is a reason.
But the rest of the U.S. team is doing
no,
actually
they're
very
great.
well.
They're great.
So, you know.
I just think that when you put that much pressure on someone, I mean,
Yes.
I think it was USA Today was saying she was the star of the entire Olympics,
Yeah.
2021 Olympics. She was the star,
Right.
the top.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
That's a lot.
That's true.
And I think when she did her, when she was doing her stuff and she made those mistakes and, that got to her. I'm sure it did. But anyway,
Probably right. Well, I
we
think
support her.
We do. But I
Even
think we
though,
have
you know,
something for people.
we're nobodies, but
We are nobodies. That's true.
But
She doesn't
we do
need our support, but she
doesn't.
has it.
But she has it.
But there is something coming up in October that I actually think could help people in this regard, and there are sponsors actually, and we want to have a word from our sponsors, brothersgolf.org, right now as we are looking at what's going to be happening soon in October. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that? I think this can actually help for a person that may need some
Yes.
time away to take some time for themselves or for them as a couple.
As a couple, and I think it's important to protect your relationship's mental health.
Exactly.
Or I'm gonna say emotional health.
That's right. The emotional health of your
of your
relationship can be
relationship.
impacted by this.
Yes,
That's
so
right.
today we are sponsored by the Brothers and Sisters Invitational, a 4-day golf tournament in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This tournament has been played for over 50 years since 1968, and they believe community and fellowship happens on the golf course. We think you can use this as a great couples getaway, mental health, emotional health,
that's
okay? This will be held on October 3rd through the 6th at the beautiful Legends Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So even if one of you does not play golf, you can still enjoy being your partner's caddy as you ride around the beautiful golf course of the Legends Resort, or you can go and get, go to the spa and do all those nice, wonderful
Massage.
things. For our listeners only, registration, or you can register by August 1st for the early bird special with the promo code CHIMES10 for 10% off at brothersgolf.org. And the registration doesn't end August 1st,
Right.
but that's the early bird special. And you definitely want to get the early bird special with Chimes 10% off, because that's like a double discount.
Exactly. That's what you want. It's for our listeners only. So make sure you take advantage of that. And
Exactly.
April and I are really trying to go.
We
And
are.
we're trying to invite
We're
some of
hoping
our
to be
friends
there.
who are couples to be there as well, so that we can have a good time together. And we hope you guys will come and join us. Maybe
Yes.
some of us will meet for the first time there. You know what I'm saying?
Hope
Who knows?
it works out. So
Yeah.
we'll
So
see.
we'll see you there. All right.
Nothing is promised these days.
That is true. All right, babe. So what about our subject for today? We're talking about mine not being romantic.
Yes, it's actually very specific. We are not talking about, if, other people can think about whether or not they're romantic, but this is specifically about us because John just discovered the other day that I don't think he's romantic. And
So let me just, before you get into that, I do have a comment to say about this.
well,
And-
let me take that back.
Okay.
That I don't think you're romantic. I'm gonna take that back.
Let me change that for you.
So I didn't mean to say that.
You don't mean, okay, so let's just do it this way. Something happened recently where I went out of town and April had kind of hinted about wanting me to sort of romance her when I got home from being out of town. And something happened in that moment that I really wasn't expecting. I was trying to figure out something that I could do to demonstrate romance to April when I got back from being out of town. And I didn't really hit the mark very well. And
I mean,
and
you
I
really
said to
tried. It was nice.
yeah, but I said to myself, okay, so should I tell him what I
I'll
got
tell
you?
him what he got me.
Okay, go ahead.
So he came back with some intimates.
Yes.
Came back with some intimates. That's what you say?
I think that's what you said.
Yeah, when you go to the store and you see the section that says intimates.
Yes.
Yeah. So he came back.
They were sets
Yes.
of bra and panties. 3 of them.
Did you really have to say? I said intimates.
They don't
Yeah.
know what that is.
So they do know what that is.
There are so many guys on the shows like, what does that even mean? What are
Anyway, so
matching, like
yeah,
yeah.
it was nice,
The point is,
but I wouldn't call that romantic.
exactly. And what I found in that moment, and that's fine if you're laughing at me. That's okay. In that moment,
Oh my
I
goodness.
questioned something. I said to myself, man,
Yeah.
am I really not romantic like that?
Mm.
So April and I have been talking about this a little bit, and yesterday we went out for the first time, I think, since the
Not
pandemic.
you think it has been? It's been the first time because I have not been wanting to go to restaurants.
Right, of course, we're
And-
scared to,
Right. I didn't want to do that.
encounter the virus.
But eating outside now, things are set up really nicely. And even though that has been set up, restaurants have been set up with outside eating for a long time, we just hadn't done it.
We hadn't done it. Yeah.
And so it was really by accident that we went out and sat at this restaurant, and it was really nice. And I was like, man, I need this.
It was
Like,
actually
I didn't
very
realize how much I
romantic.
needed that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I actually needed in our relationship
Yes.
until yesterday.
Yeah.
And
It was great for me too. I actually felt the same way.
Yeah.
I actually felt yesterday recharged in a particular way.
romantically recharged.
That's a perfect way of putting it, baby.
Yes.
I felt romantically
Romantically
recharged.
recharged.
And you're good with this thing, man. Anyway, yeah, I felt romantically recharged yesterday in a way that I didn't realize we needed. And the funny thing is, though, I've already thought of 2 or 3 other things that we can do to kind of do that same thing without even leaving the house.
Wow.
So-
And really when I think about it, we actually used to be more romantic.
Right.
That's why I said I don't want to say
I
you're
think
not romantic.
I think I lost
I
my
think you
romance mojo or
I
something.
think you've lost
You know what
it.
I'm
I
saying?
think you have.
Well, I think I'm
And-
getting it back now. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
good. But it's so funny because I wasn't even thinking about it before.
Right.
I when I would see certain things, I'd be like, ooh, and I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like I would just brush it off, even though deep down, and I think, this, quarantining, being home, and you have more time to really think about things. I think I thought about it, and I said, man, I really want him to be more romantic, more
Yes.
often, like
Yes.
not just on anniversaries,
Right.
because that's when you are.
Right.
That's when it comes out.
Yes.
Anniversaries, even birthdays,
yeah, right.
so it's there. And like I knew it was there. I know it's there. But
You need
I
it more
just
often.
feel that you don't have to just be romantic on special occasions.
Right.
I feel like that should be a thing that's part of your relationship. It's a normal thing that happens.
So let me ask you the question I asked yesterday. So while we're out eating, I asked April a question, and I said, you know what? Let's not talk about it now. Let's save it for the show. And I'm going to just ask it again now.
Okay.
Because I think I came to a realization, and so I asked a question sort of to confirm my suspicion, and this is what it was. It sounds like you want me to be more romantic, but it also sounds like you want me to stop, like, canceling your romantic gesture. So basically, when
Yes.
there are times when you suggest that we
Yes.
do things that for you would fit into the category of romance, and maybe I don't recognize that, and I shoot it down immediately, and I just say, "Oh, no, I don't feel like
I'm
doing
so
that."
glad you remembered that we
yes,
talked
because
about
you forgot
that.
about that.
I did.
Right.
I forgot.
I remembered,
Yes,
and I said we got to talk about that on
yes,
the show.
Yes.
So it sounds to me like you don't even necessarily need me to always be the initiator of the romance. Sometimes what you want is for me to accept your romantic gesture
Yes.
or whatever it is you're trying to do to get that spark
Yes.
going. I think I do a lot. I think a lot I miss that. And
You
it came to me
missed
yesterday.
that a lot.
Yeah.
Like you will shut that thing down. And I'll be like, does he hear that this is something that I want? Like,
and you don't come back with I'm trying to be romantic.
And that's
or,
because, which we talked about earlier in in another episode, I'm trying to protect myself from being embarrassed or from being hurt. So I'm just going to just be like, okay, like, whatever. He didn't
Right.
want to do it, fine.
Right.
So I have done that. And I mean, I don't understand sometimes, like, well, not that, I don't know. The whole point is, you're right. You will shut that thing down when I bring it up. And it made me either just go ahead and anticipate your response, so don't bring it up at all, or bring it up in a way to make sure I'm protecting myself while I am, so I'll say, well, I know you really don't want to do this.
Right.
I know this is not something that you like to do, but I would love to, blah, 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 And then you would get upset and be like, how you know I don't want to do that? Why are you trying to just put stuff on me? Which is true, but I did that. It was really about me. I was trying to protect myself. And I feel like, I want to be able to, I don't want to have to say it all the
Right,
time, but
right.
I actually don't mind saying, hey, let's do this or that when it comes to romantic things, because I don't think it should be one way. I don't think
Right.
it should be just you, wanting to be romantic. But when I do suggest those things and you knock it down, what it says to me is that you don't want romance.
Right. And that's definitely not what I'm trying to communicate. But I realized yesterday as we were eating, I said, man, I do that a lot. And I think I'm basically sabotaging myself because I want to be thought of as romantic.
I used to be.
Yeah.
So I do want to make that clear. Because as I was talking, I was like, wait, he is romantic. We did
Right.
a lot of stuff.
Right.
Our little picnics in the living room, I mean, we were on point weekly with that thing.
yes.
And then, you move to a bigger city, you get busier, and you neglect those important things. And I think that is the thing in relationships. We really, really, really allow kids, work, church,
Yeah.
okay? I'm going
Just
to say that
again-
real loud, church, and other things. And I'm talking to not just pastors, I'm talking to regular people who, everyday people who go to church, stuff like that. Those things can actually block what you used to do.
Yes.
The romance you had, it can block that thing because it becomes more important. And I know we have deadlines, we got stuff we got to get in, but there has to be a balance there because you should not have to lose those wonderful things that actually help the mental health.
Oh, there's no question about it.
So I feel like that's what
Yeah.
we do. We neglect the things that actually help you to be mentally healthy
And whole.
and whole so that we can get the everyday things done and all that stuff because that is
Not realizing-
considered more important.
Not realize we're doing this to the detriment of our relationship and of our own mental health.
Right.
at
And you would
times.
actually be better at those things. You'd be better at the job. You'd be better
Yeah.
at taking care of your kids.
Right.
If you did take that time out with your partner. Okay. Self-care is another thing, but relationship care. We don't care our relationship in a way, care for our relationship in a way so that we can actually be better on our jobs, better with our kids. People don't realize that you would actually raise and take care of your children better if you had more relationship care.
I agree with that. But here's the thing that I think we're on. We're on a tangent right now that is the obvious tangent, which is that we're allowing the business of life to steal our romance. But I don't think that's what was happening all the way with me. And this is the thing
Okay,
that
tell me what it was.
Yeah, so this is the thing I think we should be talking about to people. And I don't think it just happens to husbands. I think it happens to wives too.
Yeah. That's why I
and-
said it's not just a one-way thing here.
And it's not just within marriage, because I think romance is an appropriate part of relationship.
relationships,
even
period.
that's right. Even when you're
Yes,
just dating.
you're right.
So here's what happened to me. It's like we went so long without having any romantic time that I forgot what being romantic actually feels like. And so yesterday, it's like being in that space again and feeling what. So, because let me tell you what happened yesterday. There was an energy between the two of
There
us.
was.
There was. So remember what happened at first. We get to the restaurant. They try to sit us. We're sitting outside. They try to sit us at a 4-person table, and April notices right across from there is a high top 2-person table that is a lot closer to the edge. So we're like kind of sitting where you can look out over into the street and the rest of the courtyard and stuff like that. There was something about that table that automatically just
And
said.
I wanted to be closer to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so the moment we moved there and sat there instead, there was an immediate chemistry and energy that woke my brain up and reminded me, oh yeah, this is what it feels like. And immediately I got other ideas of things we could do, because it's not the stuff that you're doing. It's trying to
Right.
create space for that chemistry to happen.
It
That's
is.
really what the
It's
romance
chemistry.
is.
And I feel like we have romance.
Yes.
I do, because that chemistry is there even
Right.
at home.
Right.
Okay, I feel
Yes.
that. I mean, we walking around the house, I feel that chemistry sometimes when you are groping me.
Yeah.
I do feel that.
I brush up against you. I don't grope.
You grope, babe.
Okay. Maybe.
You have groping moments.
Maybe you're right.
Okay. But I don't
But
mind
you like that.
I do.
Yes.
You know. And that is that I like that.
Yeah.
And that is a part of romance, I
Yes.
guess. Some people
But
may
there's
not
something
think
about
so,
taking
but
a
I do.
deliberate time away
But
specifically.
taking time away specifically, that's different. I
Yeah.
think that's another level of it.
Yes.
And I think we had the lower level of romance that we had a higher level at 1st. Then we moved to the lower level. And yesterday,
Now we're moving on up.
we're
Back up to
moving
the-
back up, moving on up
I do think
to the east side.
I actually think the pandemic, I'm not joking, I'm not trying to make excuses for myself or anything like that, but I actually think the pandemic has created a situation where it basically gave me romance amnesia. It's basically what happened. Because it was so long.
It was long, and
You know what I'm
we
saying?
were together all the time during that time.
Yes.
So it's like you're thinking.
Yes.
I think it's like in your mind, you're thinking, well, we're always together.
Right.
So we don't really need to
Just
take
not- just
time
not
to be
thinking
together
about it.
when you're always
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
But you need to take time to be together in a different kind of way, in a
Yes.
different environment,
Yes.
different setting.
Yes.
Setting that atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
so that, like you said, you can feel that chemistry. The chemistry's there. We know it's there. We
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
feel it.
right.
But feeling it in a different way, in
Yeah.
a romantic way,
Yeah.
in a way outside of all the everyday
Let
things.
me just say, I'm back, baby.
Yes.
I'm back.
I am so glad, because I want to, let's move on to the word of the day, because I believe the word of the day can help us to keep that romance at the top. So we don't have to move to the east side. You know, we can already be there. All right.
We don't have to move on up.
We don't have to move on up. So the word of the day is passion.
Passion.
Yes. And you can use passion in different ways. But
Yes, you can.
passion,
We use that
I
a
like this
different way all the
definition
time.
because I feel like this will keep that romance going,
Mm-hmm.
okay? An intense desire or enthusiasm for something. A state of outburst of strong emotion. That's passion.
Wow.
So when you have that passion, oh my goodness, you have a state of outburst. Like you have to show that in a, romantic way, because it's an intense desire. To me, that's very different than just the, everyday,
I definitely have an intense desire for you and enthusiasm.
Yes, but I'm talking about specifically
But I
for
definitely
romance.
think
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I definitely think you could go like we just did a year and a half without having anything like that. You could probably start feeling, does he actually have an intense desire and enthusiasm for me? Because we haven't done anything deliberately romantic for a year and a half.
That's true. I think that could definitely happen to someone, to a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's where this was going.
Okay,
and
so that
that's
hadn't
why-
happened to you yet.
No, it has not.
Well,
Not
that's
even
good.
close. Not
I'm
even
glad.
close. Because you groping me all the time,
I got a couple of things on my
You
sleeve
let me
though.
know.
So
you let me know.
I'm saying I
you know,
have-
you let me know.
I
that-
gotta get my
now.
reputation back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need to report back on this show that I'm actually being romantic.
I will
You know what I'm
report
saying?
back, and I will report back in detail. Not too much detail, but yes, I will report back so that other men.
Well, there's more than men.
Join
I think there's some women that struggle in this area too.
No, I agree. I'm sorry.
And
I said other
we've
men.
had couples
I said that because that's
where
specific
the
to me,
husband
but yes.
has been like, "Yo, my wife is not romantic enough."
Yeah, that's true.
That happens.
That does.
So
But
anyway.
I do believe, and let's just be honest, let's just be real, that women are more inclined to use the word romantic.
I think you're right.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Men, I believe
By
there
and
is
large.
maybe a feeling there, but
Yeah.
they may not use the word romantic because it's a little bit more feminine, and so they don't want to
Yeah,
use that
they
word.
don't wanna
but
say that.
it is
Yeah.
that. But you can use the word passion.
Right. That's true.
I need more passion. You know.
Well, it's back. Hope you guys get it back too. You know what I'm saying? While I watch this girl dance over here. I'll
Well,
see
you know
y'all
what?
later.
All right, babe. I won't keep this conversation going.
All right, y'all. Check out next time.
Bye, y'all.